It is Family Friday on the morning show with Kelly and Barbara. We're going to be kickstarting things off with a little bit of Zumba action with Faiz. Plus, we chat with Minister for Culture, Community and Youth, Grace Fu, before we round things off with Jayina Chan, founder of Anya Meals, to find out how we can help feed our children nutritious food in a pinch. Good morning! It is Family Friday here on the morning show with Kelly and Barbara, and also our last edition of the morning show.
Oh, that's right. Next week we are switching it up just a little bit, given that circuit breaker is ending.
Yep.
And you know, you guys are, well, a lot of people are going to be heading back to work or working a little bit differently. So we thought we're not going to eat into your working day just as much. We're going to be kicking it back in the evenings with you instead.
Yep, it's going to be super fun, but we've still got one more Friday to go. Hopefully you started bright and early, 7:30 with First Light. Then Cheryl Lowe and Uncle Sam joined you for a workout at 8:30 as well this morning.
Of course, as always, you get us for a full hour, the last full hour you're going to have us, because next week we're reverting, well, we're going to a half-hour time block instead. But later on, you can box it out with Uppercut, and in the evenings at 9 p.m., you can chill out with John and Duncan.
Always fun with those two. Now, before we get to the fun that we have in store for you today, let's check out the numbers coming out of yesterday. And we had no Singaporeans yesterday.
This is the first time we've gotten a zero on this aspect. Although, of course, there is one community case from a work pass holder, but you know, I think it's the little wins in life that count, and you know, lifts up the spirits a little bit more.
373 cases in total, and like we said, most of 372 of them coming from inside the dormitories. Now, there are whispers, there are rumors that the phase 2 of post-circuit breaker will come into effect in mid-June. But obviously, this is all still pending.
And it's hearsay, because
we don't want to encourage rumors, but fingers crossed, if we keep our numbers right down, then we could be entering phase 2 as early as mid-June. How exciting.
Super
to be able
exciting.
to sit down and have a meal with you.
And also to see a friend.
Maybe.
One friend. Like, I love you, and I love being on this show with you.
Yeah.
But I miss my friend.
Okay, fine. Alrighty, so let's take a quick look at what's coming up today. Hey, we're going to be stretching it out with Faiz in a bit. Now, I've learned a lot from
Zumba
the.
on.
That's right. I've learned a lot from the dancing chef. He's going to be stretching you out.
Yes.
We've got a Zoom call with Minister Grace Fu, Minister for Culture, Community and Youth today. I'm super excited because she has got to be one of the fittest ministers we have. Sort of like right up there with Tan Chuan-Jin, like the two of them are competing with each other. So we're super excited to be chatting with her about her fitness journey during circuit breaker and talking about the initiatives that Sport SG have put in place to help hire people and to make sure that we're doing the best for their community.
Exactly.
And for mothers out there, because it is Family Friday after all.
It is Family Friday.
For mothers out there who have been struggling to put 3 healthy, delicious, nutritious meals on the table for your kids, I actually have a great solution for you. We're going to be talking to the founder and owner of Anya Meals, Jayina Chan. She's going to be on the show sharing some tips on how we can help feed our kids great food, and I know it's great because I've tried it. Sienna's been on it since since 6 months, I think. So I'm excited to have her on the show. But I'm also excited about today's giveaway.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so let's be honest. Every time you and I have had a production that we've worked on that has lasted for X amount of time, the one thing that we always get done is our eyelashes.
Yes.
Eyelash extensions to make sure that we don't actually have to put on as much makeup in the morning. It cuts down our get ready time.
And it just makes you look
and
fabulous.
you really get the whole like, oh, I woke up like this. It's true for once. So given that these services are currently closed,
Yes.
we have been struggling. We do take a little bit longer to get ready in the morning, but when these services reopen, we've got some great stuff for you. Lash Inc. is giving away $50 vouchers for their eyelash and eyebrow services available. Now, this isn't just extensions, right? So you can get your eyebrows done. You can also get a lash lift done. And I know you've done that before.
Lash lifts are fabulous. Like, it gives you that natural lift up and makes
it's like
you
that
look...
midway point.
Yeah, it's not artificial so that because there's no extension, but you are curling your lashes so that it's
permanent
beautiful.
curl. You can also wake up like this.
Yes, exactly. Like, it's really good.
Question.
Yes.
With lash lifts, do you still put mascara on?
In the start and for the first 3 weeks, no.
Oh, 3 weeks of no mascara.
3 weeks of no mascara is fabulous because it just gives you, they usually tint it as well so that you get like a darker lash look anyway. So it is a huge time saver, but it is also a very natural look. It's not going to give you that glammed up doll look for the extensions, but lash lifts are really, really good. So I would urge you to try it. And $50 off means that you are paying
Not a lot.
fraction
Not a lot.
for a
Probably
typical
half,
service.
maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So what they have to do, like and share.
The Get Active TV Facebook page. Share the morning show on your page as well. And comment, tell us, what is the one service that you can't wait to reopen?
Well, now that hairdressers are open, it's definitely the lash services. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to stretching it out with Faiz. He's going to join us after the break with Barbara. You're watching the morning show with the two of us. Don't go anywhere.
Step right up, draw the next card. You're one of the brighter animals, so get along with everybody else. Is the ship sinking? I've been thinking. Always thinking. I've been thinking. Been a little time to get along. Wake up call, throw the next dart. Be one of a kind, original. Don't be another sign of the times. Fight. Wanna know the secret? We get on. Wanna know the secret? We get on. Try to find the feeling we belong. It's all for one and all for fun.
Hello and welcome back to the morning show with Kelly and Barbara. Kelly's popped off. We're amping it up just a little bit for today's stretch session. We have Faiz Aman in studio with us. He's a Sports SG ambassador. You host virtual classes with 120 Fitness. You're a Zumba instructor. Anything that involves fitness and dance. This is your guy. Looking way cooler than I am. So Faiz, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're known as the dancing chef. Where did that come from?
So it's a long story though. Dancing chef, okay, let's see. It started when I got myself a new oven.
Ooh, we all love it. We all love a good oven.
And then I was baking stuff, and then I sent all these cakes to my best friends. And then they were sharing on their Facebook, hey, check out this dancing chef. I mean, I didn't come up with the name, they did.
Wow.
So they were like sharing on their Facebook and Instagram, hey, check out, my friend is doing this, he's a dancing chef. I mean, like a dance and
But do you dance while you cook?
I do, sometimes.
Do you have videos of you dancing
No.
while you cook? But see, that should be your new thing. Posting up videos of like you making all these dishes, but then you're like dancing and it's like I'm throwing some salt in there.
Yeah, it's fun to kind of
flour.
like dance and do it all together. Yeah, it brings out the energy when you're doing all your baking.
When you look cool doing it, all right? Trust me. I am clearly, for some reason, every time we've had someone who is dancey doing a stretch on the show, I always end up being the one who does it, and I've looked ridiculous every single time. So tell us a little bit more about your personal fitness journey. I mean, you have come a long way. You've posted up some like before and after stuff,
Right.
And your journey to becoming a Sports SG ambassador.
Okay, so where do I start? I mean, I've been teaching as a group fitness instructor for about 7 years. And then I am currently teaching at across sports centers in Singapore with Active SG. And then after like, say 2 to 3 years, I got appointed as a Sport SG ambassador. And I accepted the role. It was fun. It is fun, I get to take on new experiences and take on different roles, yeah.
And your personal fitness journey, I know like you cut down, you leaned out quite a lot. Was that mainly from your Zumba-based stuff?
So as a kid, I used to weigh like 125 kg. And
When you say kid, do you mean like 9 years old or 19 years old?
9 years old, yeah,
Okay.
maybe. And then I have always been very inactive. Like at home, I'm the least, like the super lazy boy
You were the couch
in the
potato in the
family.
house.
Yeah, I was like a couch potato in the house. And then I went through NS. It was a tough period for me, and I struggled a lot. That's where I started to lose some weight. And then I was feeling more motivated to be more active. And then I was doing my own trainings when I'm off camp. So I exercise more regularly. And then from there, I got inspired. I thought to myself, hey, I felt this change and I want to kind of like expand, reach out this energy to others and help them.
Yeah.
So I share this story whenever I see my clients and my students, my participants. I share with them my journeys and tell them that it's not easy, anything that you do is not easy in life. So I've been through a lot of struggles and I want them to know that, it takes time. Yeah.
And so all your Zumba classes and stuff like that, you've gone virtual, obviously.
Yes. Yeah.
Kelly actually took part in one of your online classes.
She did, yeah.
At this point in time, I wish we had a recording of it so that I could play it for you, just to even out the playing field a little bit here.
Okay.
What are the struggles? Because, Zumba is obviously a very music-based workout.
Yeah.
How have you had to adapt it to going virtual?
So when you talk about a group fitness class, particularly in a dance fitness per se, where you need to feel the presence of the music and the energy,
energy from everyone else,
like
feed
you
off
go
each other.
step into the studio with your friends, and you get really hyped up because
Yeah.
your friends are next to you, and then if your friends are not dancing too good, you can kind of like laugh at them, but virtually you're always by yourself. So I realized as an instructor when I teach, when I give virtual classes, I was just sharing with Kelly and I was telling her that, hey, I want to make a joke to someone and focus on that someone, but everybody else is laughing at my joke, So it feels awkward because I'm not like next to them. So the struggles and the challenge that I face is to kind of like engage everybody present in my classes. And it's a new experience. The challenge has been a lot, but it's been fun actually.
Yeah?
It's fun, kind of.
Aw.
Just that I still miss the studio vibe though, like the loud bass by the side.
I completely relate.
The noise,
It's very
especially, yeah.
different.
Because virtually, when I try to make them like respond to me like, who? And then they were like, okay, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And then they feel really awkward because their family members are around, and then they want to scream, and then their family members might think that they're crazy.
Yeah. Like somehow when you're in a Zumba class and you're in the room with everyone else who's doing the same thing,
Yeah,
it's almost
yeah.
like a safe space.
Exactly.
And then suddenly you're stuck very awkwardly in the living room with like
Exactly, yeah.
your family members judging you, and you're just like,
Yeah.
let me have my fun. Okay, enough talk. Let's get to it. So you're gonna bring me through a couple of moves. Now we don't have music, but some of the basic Zumba moves that how you would warm up for it, and let's try and not make it too difficult.
Okay, so like a basic warm-up before a class. Wow.
Yeah.
You got your shoes off.
We're getting serious now.
I'm gonna make her run.
Please don't.
So usually, like participants, before I start my class, I will kind of like get them to do their stretches. Before I generally start a class with my proper warm-up. I make them move from like side to side. So this is what you can do.
So get the coordination
yeah,
going.
kind of like
Okay.
bring
Left
your
and
heart
right.
rate
I can
up
do
a
that.
little bit. Yeah, this is super easy because you want to get your body be ready before you go to the class. So you
Yep.
can just clap and clap.
can
So
clap.
sometimes my participants, they would like to do this. They'll kind of like,
Very big. You gotta make sure you got enough space around
yeah,
you, y'all.
exactly. And then shoulders,
at the same
and
time,
then
okay.
shoulder rolls, so bring it back and forward. And importantly, when we talk about dance, fitness classes, we primarily focus on the legs. Yeah.
Oh.
So you kind of like want to warm up the legs, especially.
the
So
legs.
focus a lot more on the legs because you're gonna be dancing a lot.
Walk,
And then walk, and then and we can also do dynamic stretches, a side lunge. So to stretch your inner thighs and be ready because you use a lot of legs when you dance.
we go.
Okay, and then sometimes I make them do hip circles. Okay, so these are all to work on the flexibility.
Right. Open up the
Because
hips.
sometimes when you're dancing, and especially me, I will usually just go jump crazy, That's where you need a lot of leg power. And your muscles need to be ready. And then you
Awesome.
can also stretch your calves like this,
Okay.
and then switch on to the other side.
So we go. You usually go through more dynamic.
Yeah,
type
more dynamic
stretches.
stretches, and then I make them do some squats, not too low because we're still warming up. The idea is we want to get them moving and heart rate to go up.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, real quick, let's just go through some of the, I would say the most basic, please,
That
of,
was basic.
of Zumba moves. Like, what are some of the defaults that you go to?
Like a warm up?
Like anything, whatever. Any move that you think you can challenge me to, or you can challenge me to a move.
Challenge you to a move.
And I'll see if I can do it.
Let's see. I have this favorite move when I do my dance, my dance fitness classes. I call this a kickball change.
All
kick
right.
change. This is the move that I love to do a lot in class. And then sometimes my participants, they will do exactly this. They're like,
Just like, oh
come
my gosh,
on.
okay.
Anything easier, yeah.
All right, so this
let's
is
try
my
it,
challenge.
Let's try
To
it,
wrap
yeah.
up this segment, this is what
Yeah.
we're going to do. We're going to do a kick.
So you're gonna kick, and then you extend your other
Kick,
leg. And then from here, you're gonna kick on that same leg
Kick.
and extend the other leg.
Extend the other leg.
Yeah, you
Hey,
can
y'all
do this
don't laugh,
slowly.
okay?
So let's try it together. 5, 6, 7, 8. Kick, change, kick, and extend. Good. Kick, extend. Good.
Hey.
Let's go a little
Look
bit
at me
faster. Go.
go.
1 and 2, 3 and 4.
Oh, when you count, that's just when I lose it.
Ta, ta, ta. You can also sing along like, buddy, you're a rock, da 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 da. Okay, no singing. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace. Oh, you know this
Ba,
song?
ba, 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 ba.
Yeah,
Ba, ba,
okay.
ba, ba. Okay. Hey, guys, I think that was a pass, okay? I think I did a really good job.
Yeah,
Thank
I think
you
you did good, yeah.
so much for joining us today.
Thank
That
you.
was actually really,
Thank you,
really
Barbara.
fun. If people want to join your virtual classes, where can they go?
Okay, so they can check out 120 Fitness SG. So we
Right.
have a Facebook page where we have a list of virtual classes where they can take. But most of these virtual classes run by, we go on a Zoom platform. So they kind of need to have that before they attend a class. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you so
Thank
much
you, Barbara.
for joining us today. We are going to go for a short break, but when we come back, we've got Minister of Culture, Community and Youth, Grace Fu, in on Zoom with us. Don't go anywhere.
In no way can we compare ourselves to healthcare workers, to those hitting the streets, keeping people safe, but I think we serve a different purpose.
I hope that people can take away a fun new fact or something to help their physical or mental development at this point in time.
Regardless of which industry you're from, we all face the same challenges. If all of us were to stay united and persevere till the end, I'm very sure we'll overcome the whole thing together.
What we as entertainers are trying to do is to sound out to as much people as possible that there is every possibility to move to the next phase of the future with positivity in mind.
We have a much leaner team than any other production that I've worked on. We're doing a lot with very little resources to ensure that we adhere to all of the rules and regulations. I feel like we're serving the needs of Singaporeans currently at home. We are entertaining them, we're giving them ideas, and we're trying to bring the outside world inside. That's something that we feel like the Singaporeans need, and if we don't do it, then who will? To the morning show with Kelly and Barbara. Family Friday, hey?
That's right, we had a nice little stretch out earlier on.
And now we're going to get to one of our best guests for today, I have to say. Minister for Culture, Community and Youth, Grace Fu. Minister, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning, ladies.
Thank you so much
nice
for
to see
joining
you.
us
Pleasure
today.
to be on the show.
Happy Friday. We are on
Thank you, and you too.
Yeah. Well,
Weekend's coming.
we're on the home stretch for Circuit Breaker. How has it been for you?
It actually has been great because I eat healthier. I don't go out as much, so I eat at home, and my helper has been really doing very well with home cooked food. I exercise regularly, sometimes twice a day. And I somehow sleep more because I have more time on my hand.
That's awesome.
So although I miss my friends, I miss my constituents very much, but actually it has some plus points for me. And I'm discovering the world of social media, whether it's in the arts, fitness, or in the pop culture. You know, I'm just really like trying to catch up with what's happening online. So it has been great.
We know you've been very busy online because we've seen you doing all of the 60-second challenges, the active health challenges and stuff like that. And we embarked on one with Cheryl Tay. We did the 60-second calf raise
raises.
challenge, which was painful.
I got to admit, about 30 seconds in, we were all like, oh, okay.
This is a lot harder than it looks.
This is a really long 60 seconds.
Well, actually, the 60 seconds is actually supposed to be sort of customized and individualized. So you go in at the level that's suitable for you. And I picked it up because I thought that the exercises were easy to start. You can do it at your study. You can do it in your living room. You don't need a lot of space. And I thought that everyone can start with at least 60 seconds. So that's how I started myself. And when I posted one or two, and I find that the responses has been great. People will look at my exercise clip and say, okay, I can do that, and I follow you. So I thought, why not, encourage more to come on board? So I've, sort of started a little series of 60 seconds. And the exercises are getting tougher as we go into level 2, I found out.
Well, look at you, Minister. You're Singapore's very own Fitfluencer at the moment. Like, I'm really proud of you. Like, I know you've always been fit because every time you come to the runs, the mass participation events, you're always running the 5Ks, the 10Ks, and I've always had a lot of admiration for you because you'd wake up looking fresh, you'd flag us off, you'd go and run, and then you'd come back and do prize presentations. And I'm just like, I don't know how you do it. You look fabulous all the time.
Actually, it is about energy, creating more energy. And actually, you realize it when you try doing it. Is when you get up and go, you find that actually, your body gets lighter. You have, more energy to push yourself. And actually, I really believe that energy generates energy. So get off the lethargic, get off the chair and start doing something. You will find that actually you have a lot of potential to do a lot of things. And I think this circuit breaker has taught me that. So I thought that I had been active enough. But, when I looked at some of your Get Active program, I said, hey, that's really interesting. I've never done this before. And I've tried some of them. I almost died. You won't see this on my Facebook or Instagram clip because I completely flop on the floor. But After the first time, the second time, you sort of find, a hang of it. You find what's suitable for you. And I'm so glad to see many different segments coming onto your show. I see that there's something for the family.
Yeah.
Dawn and her kids, Uncle Sam and his daughter, I believe.
Yeah.
And also a segment for the seniors, really early, like 7:30. That has been great. I think that it's really something for everyone in the family, and everybody can get together, connect with the community, and do some, exercises. We wanted this because not only it's important to find program that suits the needs of Singaporeans. Secondly, also we find that the community should do something together. So whether you have been following a particular instructor and now you want to still follow him or her, you can still connect it with your mates. And most importantly, I think our instructors and our freelancers are struggling during the circuit breaker. They have to stop their classes, and livelihood is affected. So we thought that it's really a way of providing a platform for all the freelancers, the coaches, and instructors to go online and continue to engage and hopefully monetize some of the classes. And I see that some instructors are collecting fees, and I hope that more will come and support them. They really deserve our support during this difficult time.
That's absolutely right.
Singaporeans, come on to Get Active SG circle.
Now, speaking of, we saw the yoga session that you did on the Get Active TV Rise and Shine. So, aside from your 60 seconds and obviously doing that yoga session, how was that yoga session, by the way?
Actually, I have been doing yoga for 3-4 years already. And this has been a change, I must admit, because I'm so used to going to the classes. I enjoy having, my yoga teacher there guiding me. Doing it at home, it's really not the same, but I found a better alternative. I start to follow different instructors. And Dawn has been great, and several other instructors has been great. So I try as much as possible to keep up with it. Although I find that when I'm in the class, I get pushed more. So I'm trying to push myself a little harder
having someone there to just constantly be at you.
Now, Minister, you mentioned just now about the Active SG Circle. Sport SG has done a lot to try and roll out various initiatives to help the sports industry, whether it's coaches, whether it's athletes, whether it's instructors and gym owners. The impetus, you briefly touched on it about wanting to help make sure that people still had a form of livelihood. Can you maybe expand a bit more on that?
Yeah, first of all, I think that we are, really in touch. We are in touch with the industry. The industry is suffering like many other sectors in Singapore. I just had an engagement session with them over Zoom. So I think they downloaded to me the difficulties they're going through. The sector is very varied, but, we know that no one is spared and everyone is in it together. So we like to support the sector more. There are some general measures that are out there. In fact, Minister for Finance has announced a new budget to help the sports sector. So there's some general measures that's available to all sectors, all businesses. Job support scheme, for example, supporting the payroll, the income supplement for the self-employed persons, freelancers, that's also generally available to all freelancers in the fitness and sport industry. Rental rebates is something that we're offering as well for those that are, residing in our premises. But we are also putting in programs such as Get Active SG and Active SG Circle. Really, it's a way to support everyone in the industry in a few ways. First, it's a platform. So for instructors who want to put their classes online, start collecting some fees, that's a way for us to give them the kind of platform so that they don't have to invest on their own. Secondly, it's for instructors and coaches to get themselves upgraded. So there are many, many interesting courses that's already put online that the coaches and instructors can avail themselves. It's one thing about, having a circuit breaker and feeling down, but the other is turn it into an opportunity for us that when we are busy, we didn't have the time to go through the courses, this is a great time to, refresh our skills and our knowledge in the whole area of sports science. There's so much going on about nutrition, about sleep, about different ways of exercising. So there's a lot going. That's for the instructors, and we hope that we can support them with training allowances as well. We will roll out courses that they can apply for Skills Future credit, and also support from Sport SG, so that they pay very, very little or almost nothing. At the same time, getting a training allowance from it, so that while they're attending training, they get paid a little bit. So that's really a way for us to support them, support everyone during this difficult time, so that we can continue to remain in the industry, and that we can be gainfully employed. Speaking about that, Sport SG actually has created temporary positions, 500 of them, to support the whole pandemic, battle. So some of our coaches have actually become ambassadors, and they're helping up in some of the care facilities that we set up. Of course, they are paying jobs. So for some of us who are thinking about, finding alternative way of supporting the family, check out Sport SG. We have some vacancies there for you.
And I think that's great, because there have been all these grants that have been rolled out. I mean, up to 2 million to help, especially the sports industry players and stuff like that. So it's very, very heartwarming to see that there are other avenues and other options for a lot of the freelancers like us.
It's just like we're a couple of the 500.
We're part of those 500. So Lisa,
Active SG at Home, for example, is really for some of the event organizers that have seen their livelihood and business suffered. During the normal times, we have lots of events, running events and fitness events, but they have all stopped. So what do? We want to actually bring them online.
Yeah.
And so we have a grant, a total of $2 million, and it's for the event organizers, for the industry to apply, so that they can organize a virtual event online. So one of the first actually is the Team Nila Care Pack exercise. I don't know whether you have seen it. If not, please check it out.
Okay.
So there's 55 steps of 3 sets of exercises.
Oh, wow.
And if you do that, you raise a care pack for a migrant worker. So that's really an example. Yeah, so lots of interesting things that's going on, but it's really for the industry to propose and to organize it, so that we continue to keep the capability warm, and we continue to upgrade our online technical ability.
I think it's really fantastic. I think everybody has had to adapt to this new way of working, to this new way of how business is going to be run. And I think one of the things that we're going to touch on in future on the show is just sort of the possibility of perhaps a 4-day work week, and how some people, like the New Zealand Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, was talking about, it could be a good way to restart the economy and to give people that sort of balance, because the world is never going to be the same again, which I find very, very interesting. But Minister, what's the world going to look like for you? What is your new normal? What's your new normal?
Actually, the first thing that is quite different in my life now is that I'm doing marketing, which I don't used to do. My parents and my mother-in-law, they are with me. I'm staying with them, so I have to feed the family, and I have to go to the market, the wet market, which I love, and I enjoy doing that. So it's a way of sort of checking the food prices, and also bantering with the stallholders. And from there, you get a feel, about what's happening. They'll tell you that, actually the elderlies are not coming on Sundays and Saturday anymore. They are coming on weekdays. So they are heeding your advice to spread out and not to come on the weekend.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
It's through that, talking and really feeling the ground, that you get a sense of what's happening. So I really enjoyed that part. But I think, as you said, life is not going to go back to pre-COVID days in one fell swoop, right? It's going to go in many, many baby steps. So the first thing, I think we have to learn to do engagement a lot online. So we've done several rounds, whether it's the fitness industry or for the religious organizations, really is to try to still keep in touch, and get a sensing of what's happening online. For us, I think there are two main issues now. It's really lives of people and livelihood of people. Life of people, how do we resume back to normalcy in a safe way? How do we move from circuit breaker to phase 1 to phase 2? So we're having a lot of discussion. What's to be allowed? How do we allow it? Do we allow, for example, prayers in the places of worship and so on? So there's a whole lot of discussion that's going on all sectors. So the lives of people very much at the top of our minds. The second part is our livelihood. These two go hand in hand, right? The more you sort of lock down, the worse it is for livelihoods. So we need to relax it so that livelihood can resume. And how do we resume that? For the fitness, for the sports industry, for the art sector, this is another area that we're having a lot of discussions. Plus, the third one really is about supporting with financial grants and budgets.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, we have another supplementary budget now, and there will be a lot more help for Singaporeans, and all that involve a lot of working online, and we have really found a new normal to work online collaboratively through technology, and actually surprisingly productive as well.
Awesome.
It is pretty incredible how we've seen people just need to change, and therefore we have. Minister, thank you so much for sharing all those initiatives, plus sharing a little bit more about your fitness regime. Like, you are truly an inspiration, not just to your followers, but like to me as well. And I think it's nice to see that through your marketing, you're actually able to meet your constituents in that sort of more informal way, which is kind of cool as well. So thank you so much for being with us here on The Morning Show. So this was The Morning Show with Kelly, Barbara, and Minister Grace Fu. Awesome. Hopefully we'll get you back on the show again.
That's right. We're going to go for a short break, but when we come back, more guests on our Family Friday. Don't go anywhere.
Look, in no way can we compare ourselves to healthcare workers, to those hitting the streets, keeping people safe, but I think we serve a different purpose.
I hope that people can take away a fun new fact or something to help their physical or mental development at this point in time.
Regardless of which industry you're from, we all face the same challenges. If all of us were to stay united and persevere till the end, I'm very sure we'll overcome the whole thing together.
What we as entertainers are trying to do is to sound out to as much people as possible that there is every possibility to move to the next phase of the future with positivity in mind.
We have a much leaner team than any other production that I've worked on. We're doing a lot with very little resources to ensure that we adhere to all of the rules and regulations. I feel like we're serving the needs of Singaporeans currently at home. We are entertaining them, we're giving them ideas, and we're trying to bring the outside world inside. That's something that we feel like the Singaporeans need, and if we don't do it, then who will?
Welcome back to The Morning Show with Kelly and Barbara. Now, it's Family Friday, and it only seems fitting that as we wrap up the morning show before we move into Kick Back with Kelly and Barbara next week, that we bring on someone who could really, really help our families. Now, as a mother, especially when I'm working, when I'm busy, or if you are at home struggling with that work-life balance of needing to feed your children 3 times a day suddenly when previously you hadn't needed to, or maybe you were at work and therefore it was somebody else's responsibility, we realized that trying to find nutritious, healthy food is always not the easiest. So I brought in someone to chat with us about how we can do that. Founder of Anya Meals, Jayina Chan. Jayina, you do amazing work. Anya Meals is fabulous.
Thank
but
you.
Before I could wax lyrical about everything that you do. Tell us a little bit about Anya Meals.
Anya Meals started when my daughter was weaning. She was about 1, and I realized that there's a lot of mums who do not understand the importance of nutrition for their little ones. So as we know, the first 1,000 days of a child's life is really important. So they need food for their nourishment. Before supplements came into play, food was medicine, food was nourishment, food was everything your body needed to grow. So the first 3 years were really important. Sorry, that's my son.
Yeah, I was going to say, we can hear your youngest one just on the sidelines. It's okay, he can come on if he wants.
Yeah. And many parents, they don't know what kind of ingredients are suitable for their babies. And in the Asian context, like, everyone thinks that porridge is the right way to go, but maybe there can be more. So that was when I started to do my research when it came to feeding Anya, and I started sharing on my platform, and that was how Anya Meals started, because everyone wanted to know how to do it and wanted to feed their kids good food as well.
Now, we first started getting in touch when Sienna started weaning as well, and I was struggling because in the first year of Sienna's life we had no help at home, so it's just my husband and I and my sister Barbara's like, yeah, me too, and I was struggling to look for ideas of things that would make sure that she was getting all the nourishment that she needed, and wasn't going to take me 6 hours in the kitchen because I had to devote my time to her as well, which is when your stocks came into play, your porridges that you had as well, and I just think it was amazing that I had good, wholesome, nutritious food that I could take from the freezer, heat up in the stove, and know that she was eating all the right things, because again, I was a bit clueless as a first-time mother as to what she should and shouldn't be eating. But tell us a little bit about the types of foods and when you should be introducing different things.
So the world is made of so many ingredients that the child can eat. So just do your research and make sure that every ingredient that you introduce to your child, there is a 4-day gap to rule out any allergies, or you can pinpoint the culprit every time your child has an allergy. But the key is to go slow and slowly introduce a variety to your child, especially vegetables and fruit. Because there you get your carbohydrates, your proteins, all your different nutrients.
Now here we're just looking at your website, your stock. It is amazing.
Thank you.
But stock is a great foundation for a lot of products for our children, like when we're thinking of making foods, right? What are sort of the things that we can do with your stocks?
You can make a lot of savory meals with them. It can be stews, braised, it can be porridge, soups, anything basically. They are really versatile. They are currently sold out because we are doing a pre-order. We prepare our stocks and meals fresh based on the demand for that week, so you don't get old stock.
Okay, so everything that you're getting from Anya Meals is always fresh, which is very key, I think, when you're dealing with young children. You don't want them to be consuming products that have been sat in the fridge or the freezer for too long.
Or on the shelf for months.
That's right. And I think that brings in the point, like everybody, every mother, every father even wants to provide the best for their child as within their means as well. But I think it's important to note that if you are going to be buying pre-made stuff, it's better to be getting the fresh stuff. And it's not different price-wise either if you're buying packets of stuff from the shelves in the supermarkets versus getting stuff from you, which is already lovingly made, right?
We try to keep our prices as affordable as possible because it's not just food for people who can afford them. We want it to be available for the masses. And most of our parents who need these meals, not just moms, but even dads and caregivers as well, they're working, they're busy.
Yeah.
You know, I have met stay-home moms, I have met working moms, work-at-home moms, but there is not one mom who does not work. Everyone is busy. So I'm hoping that our meals and our stocks can help them save time in the kitchen so they do not have to toil over the stove and spend quality time with the children.
Yeah, which is predominantly why I first turned to you as well. Now, speaking of nutrition for kids, that balance of nutrition, there are some days where it is just easier to give Sienna chicken nuggets and chips because that's what she wants. And if that means that she's getting food in her as a growing child, like, I'm happy. But for the most part, we do want to make sure that we're giving our kids nutritious food. So what are some key tips as a mother and as the creator of Anya Meals, key tips for getting kids nutrition, just to wrap us up here?
I just want to start off by saying that what your kid eats in a day will not make or break them. So don't beat yourself up if that is the option for the day. Your kid is happy, your kid is fed, and that is the most important thing. So for nutrition-wise, when it comes to children, just try to offer as frequently as you can. You know, don't force meal times on them. Don't make it a negative experience. Try to introduce positive reinforcements, and hopefully with better when they are more keen to try out foods, that is when you can introduce more nutrients and more ingredients to them. Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's really good advice. I mean, so often we get very frustrated at meal times because the kid's not eating, the kid doesn't want to eat whatever we've just prepared, and we find it very frustrating. But I think making it a positive experience and just taking the approach of saying, it's okay, if they don't want to eat, then it's okay. If they're hungry, they will eat. So I think that's fantastic advice. So where can we go? Just head over to the website or the Instagram page, which is the best way to get in touch with you?
You can head on to anyameals.com or you can check out our Instagram account. It's Anya Meals. So you can find all of our information there, and you can feel free to DM us or WhatsApp us at any point of time if you've got any questions about our products, our services, or just about weaning in general.
Yeah, she's a fabulous source of motherhood advice. So if you need anything, Jayina is your lady. Jayina, thank you so much for joining us here on the morning show and for wrapping up this week. We are going to go for a short break, but when we return, it's family fun with Nat Dau as we break it down for the last time here on the morning show with Kelly and Barbara. Don't go away.
Step right up, draw the next card. You're one of the black animals, so get along with everybody else. Is the ship sinking? I've been thinking. Always sinking. I've been thinking. Been a little time to get along. One of these days you're gonna be. One of these days.
back to the morning show with Kelly and Barbara. I'm back. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Part of me can't wait to have a kid just so that I can try it out.
Yeah, no, Jayina's meals are really, really good. Like, I've truly enjoyed eating. I know Barbara has as well, because whenever Sienna hasn't finished her food, Barbara's usually the one that finishes it off. So we know it's delicious if Barbara's eating it.
We were always taught not to waste, you know, food on the plate. Therefore, if she can't finish it, I will happily eat the rest of it.
Anyway, speaking of family fun, though, on this final Family Friday, sad cry. We've got Nat Dau teaching us how to break it down and keep it fun at home by mixing it up a little bit.
Life hacks.
Yeah.
Definitely a life hack when it comes to getting exercise in when you think you don't have time, but actually you do.
Hello and welcome to Break It Down, the time when we get to break down your favourite exercises and movements so you know the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts, and the best hacks to make it easier or hopefully a lot harder sometimes. My name is Natalie Dau and today I'll be taking you through Family Friday once again. Now, we are all doing our best to stay healthy during this time, and I've seen families out exercising that I've never seen out before, which is one positive thing of COVID-19. But I want to see people continue to exercise once this is all over and stay healthy. So what are some workouts that we can do in our house that will continue past circuit breaker and keep us healthy in the long term? Now, WHO says that we should be exercising 30 minutes a day for adults, 60 minutes a day for kids. Now, it seems like a lot, but we can break that down into smaller chunks during the day and make it a lot easier for both ourselves and our children. So something that we have been doing at home that's worked really well is setting up a score sheet, putting it on the refrigerator door so everyone can keep track of what they're doing every day. This way, it creates a fun competition, but it also makes sure that you're on the line and responsible for your exercise. Now, what have we been scoring and tracking? Really simple things that are pretty much impossible to fail at. So we've grabbed Post-it notes, pop them on the fridge. Every time you go to open that refrigerator door, you need to do 10 air squats. Anytime that you're going to wash your hands, you need to do 5 push-ups before you do that. So it's really simple things like that. It's 60 seconds of stretching when you get up from your desk, just to make sure your body's feeling good and limber again. So really simple tips that you can do after circuit breaker and all the way through. Now, we haven't been able to get outside to our favourite places as a family, so here's a really good way of doing some virtual workouts with your children and making them super fun at the same time. So let's all go see Singapore together in the comfort of our own living room. So number one, a really great one to do, and we're going to do this for 30 seconds of work, and then you're going to rest for 30 seconds and do it again, is you can be marching with your children across the Helix Bridge. So just simple march in place and imagine you're on the Helix Bridge. Another one we're going to be doing is paddleboarding in Sentosa. So a great exercise for your arms. We're going to be climbing a tree at Forest Adventure. Again, super easy. And then we're going to be doing some muscular exercises, which is, let's just hold our best Arnie Schwarzenegger position for 30 seconds. We can inline skate at East Coast. We can climb Bukit Timah Hill, or we can climb through the tunnels at Fort Canning. So there's super simple things to do that we can pretend we're outside, but do them virtually inside. Now, if you've got some other great locations that you've been virtually exercising in during this time, I would love to hear about them. Please don't forget to tag us on Get Active TV, or if you've got any questions, feel free to shoot us a comment, as we would love to help. Thank you once again for joining me on Break It Down. I hope you and your family are staying fit and healthy. It's time for a quick break, but when we come back, it's over to Callie and Barbara once more. So don't go anywhere.
Thanks so much, Nat.
I want to pretend like I'm paddleboarding.
Yeah.
I miss that.
Paddleboarding, just being out on the water, I really, maybe I should break out the paddling pool and then just pretend that I'm paddling.
Paddleboard
paddling
in
pool.
the paddling pool. Fair enough. I mean, if you can get it done, get it done.
If you can. Alrighty, so that sort of wraps us up for our 7-week-long circuit breaker edition of the morning show here with you and me.
I know, it's been absolutely lovely. We've had some great guests on talking about very relevant things in terms of how we've been coping during the circuit breaker, how businesses have been affected, and how we can all get through it together.
Now, we're going to be shifting to Kick Back with Kelly and Barbara as of next week. So every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we will join you at 8 p.m. right here on the same channels. So you don't have to go anywhere else. You don't have to go anywhere else to look for us. But we're going to be bringing you a 30-minute condensed, very focused, and fun session with a bunch of really awesome people. And what we're going to do is really help you navigate the new normal in a sense that we're going to help you decipher what's life going to be like after circuit breaker, after COVID, and how we can get back to some sense of normality.
That's right. I mean, next week we've got an epic lineup. We're starting off our first episode with a little look into esports.
That's right. It's something that Barbara hasn't dabbled much in, but I've played a lot of games
As
in
you
my
can tell,
past.
I have no coordination.
But it's been so interesting to see the growth of esports. So join us on Monday at 8 p.m. as we talk to Prasad Paramajoti, the godfather of Counter-Strike in Southeast Asia, as well as Victoria Cheng, notable gamer girl.
Epic setup.
She does have an epic setup at home. And then on Wednesday, it's comedians all in the house.
That's right. We're going to be chatting a little bit about what it's like to be dating in this new era. What does love look like post-COVID or during this entire situation? I think it's super interesting. It's going to be great. We've got Rahat and Shanti is coming back in with us. So we're going to be having so much fun with them.
I'm really excited. So make sure you join us next week for Kick Back with Kelly and Barbara from 8 p.m. onwards. It's going to be a great one. But remember, you've still got a few more days of circuit breaker left. So whilst you're staying at home, make sure that you stay strong, stay safe, and once again, make sure that you stay at home.